early church. He mentions the Pharisees 29 times, more than any of the other Gospels do. And some scholars think that he changed his name from Levi to Matthew after he became a Christ follower, because that means gift of Yahweh. And then he's one of the ones that I've always been curious about. Jesus selected a really wide range of different folks for his disciples, and some of them really puzzled me. Matthew's one I always wondered about. He was a hated Jew. He was a Jew. He was one of God's chosen people, but he was making himself rich off the burden and back that he put on his family, his friends, his neighbors as a tax collector. He worked with and was friends with the Roman government people that was their oppressors. So you can see why he was hated. But the teacher's commentary that comes with this said that probably was chosen because he would have been a good record keeper. And they had developed a type of shorthand back then that Matthew would have used and been proficient at. So when he was trying to capture the words as Jesus taught, he could get more of that down quickly than somebody writing in whatever their form of longhand was. So probably the reasons that he was chosen. And when it mentioned how many times he mentioned the Pharisees, one little trivia fact that I didn't know anything about, it said there were over 6,000 Pharisees at the time of Jesus, that there were Pharisees in every city that had a synagogue, and then the majority of them were in Jerusalem, and the ones in Jerusalem were considered to be of higher authority than these other Pharisees. So just some trivia that I saw before I began the lesson that I thought was interesting. The lesson's titled Real Devotion. And that's what God wants from us. He desires, and he deserves a heartfelt, sincere devotion to him. Just like we as humans, we want the real article. We want the real thing. We want something authentic. We don't want a rip-off or a knockoff, an imitation, something artificial, a substitute, a generic. So just right now, can somebody think of something that you do not want the generic version of? Anybody? Ketchup. Okay. Well, my first thought was my Jif peanut butter. Do not try to fool me with Skippy, because I know the difference. And then recently on Facebook, I saw an ad for Clark's sandals, and Clark's are so comfortable, and it was $23, less than half the price normally. I thought, I'm going to get these shoes. Well, when they arrived, the box had the 2 sandals in them and nothing else. No packing slip, no invoice. The only thing on the outside of the box was a gibberish name I couldn't begin to pronounce and a Taiwan address. So I did not get the real thing. It was a substitute. And I go back and look at the screenshot I took of that thing, and it underneath Clark's shoes it said sponsored by. So just forewarning, if you ever see that, sponsored by, you might not get the real thing. So just